It's not a split call.
Yes, but it will be a short-ish call, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much for the opportunity. To talk to the second reading of the Accounting Infrastructure Reform Bill. As a number of my colleagues have already stated in their contributions to this debate, this was one of the more interesting bills that I've seen traverse this Parliament for the reason of the exemption that both Claire Curran and Clayton Cosgrove have mentioned for a particular group. But before I get to that issue, Mr. Speaker, I did want to say, obviously, that this side of the House supports this bill because we understand by the merging of the two accounting bodies on this side of the Tasman and also with Australia, there will be some effectiveness and efficiencies gained from that, and then hopefully some opportunities for businesses in our side, in our country, on the other side of the Tasman, which we all want. And if you believe what the National Party says, they think that this side of the House is not business friendly, but that is absolutely not the case. Policies that we've already released, Mr. Speaker, such as our R&D tax credits, accelerated depreciation, I think, with the forestry and manufacturing sector, and some exciting policy that we're yet to see around apprenticeships, I think, will be of great attraction to small to medium enterprise as we head into a decision-making period of the electoral cycle. That's right, $200 million, quite a big push for regional New Zealand. And this brings me to a local story, Mr. Speaker, of a graduation I attended in Porirua on Friday, actually, where there were graduates from a money management and small business management course who are keen to see some real practical policies from the political parties who are advancing their causes at the election this year. And I think a number of the policies that I've already spoken of on our side of the House will certainly help them advance their cause to be a profitable, efficient and effective business, which this does for accountancy systems. Mr. Speaker, interesting bill, as I said before, because of this exemption that we do have within it, essentially for a particular religious group. And they did come and submit to the Select Committee. And before I talk to that, can I thank the officials in this, because it was one particular clause, one particular submission which took up quite a lot of time and debate within the very hard-working Commerce Select Committee. Essentially, there's an amendment in section, I believe it is 36M within the bill, which asks for a chartered accountancy body that would essentially grant membership of their organisation to essentially exempt a religious body from being membership because of their religious beliefs. It was a submission from, and I don't think they'll mind me mentioning their names, Brian Prestige and Michael Powell, who are two people acting as auditors and accountants already, but who are members of the Exclusive Brethren. Now, I know there's been some controversy about that particular religion, but that's not why I'm bringing it up. But I am bringing it up because it's a very interesting debate that we had within the Select Committee as to whether or not that particular group making a submission, or any group that holds particular religious beliefs, should be exempted from membership of a body that we are asking all other people in a certain profession to be part of, so that they can be held to a code of ethics or particular standards or any disciplinary action that body may put on any of its members. There was some concern from this side of the House as to whether or not who was going to be the arbiter of what we would consider the appropriate religious beliefs or a particular religious group. Again, as Clayton Cosgrove said, we didn't think that should be up to the officials. And I think during the committee debate, Mr. Speaker, that will be an interesting part of the debate, if we do get to that stage of the debate before this House rises. But, Mr. Speaker, in terms of granting that exemption to a particular religious group, the accountancy body or the organisation has to have an agreement with that religious group, and it's apparent upon the religious group that they have to abide by all the rules and regulations of the accountancy group. I believe personally that there was a case to maybe grant the exemption, and I think we came to a relatively good position within the Select Committee that for particular religious reasons, that there should be an exemption, because essentially the religious groups are practising now. They don't, I believe, hold memberships of the bodies as they are now, but this legislation compels them to do so. They agreed that they would be accountable to those bodies if there were to be disciplinary action or code of ethics behaviour or particular things that they had to adhere to make sure that their standards were as good as other members who had to become members. So I know that's a relatively controversial group, Mr Speaker, but I thought that they made a relatively sound contribution or submission to the Select Committee. They did believe under the Bill of Rights they had the freedom to non-association, and I think this debate isn't necessarily over as this bill traverses the House. But I would like to again thank the officials, because this wasn't an easy part. It certainly wasn't the main thrust of the bill. The main thrust of the bill was about those two entities on this side of the Tasman and the other side of the Tasman coming together and ensuring that there could be effective and efficient business between our side of the Tasman and theirs. But that was one issue that I think we need to thank the officials for, a tricky one which I think, as Clayton Cosgrove said, only has one other precedent in another piece of Labor legislation.
Mark Mitchell.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Speaker. Very pleased to take a call on this. The accounting